Little did I know that was the day, that was the push that was going to ask me to look deeper for answers. And I needed answers for my crushing fatigue. I needed answers for why I felt like I couldn't do the things that I wanted to be able to do. And I needed answers for why my moods were going up and down like a toilet seat. I used to think that my body changes meant that something was wrong with me until I realized they were messages, signals, leading me to more energy, clarity, and a deeper sense of freedom. I'm Stephanie Hutchins-White, and now as a women's health mentor, holistic nutrition coach, and energy practitioner, I help women over 40 decode their symptoms and hormones and trust their body's wisdom so they can feel, look, and sleep their best. In the You Being You podcast, we're not here for quick fixes or one-size-fits-all solutions. This is where science meets intuition, where we get to rewrite the old stories about aging and where you get to take back your power one small step at a time. Join me and my guests each week as we uncover the missing links to your symptoms, dive deep into the mind-body connection, and explore how to thrive naturally at every stage of life. Your body is beautiful and it knows what it's doing. Get ready to unlock the energy you've been missing and have fun along the way. Pull up a seat. This is the You Being You podcast. Welcome to episode 1 of the You Being You podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Hutchins-White, and I am so thrilled and excited to have you here with me with this time together, talking about all things women's health. It was 25 years ago that I would never, ever have imagined that I would be here with you today, because it was really almost 25 years ago that I left a doctor's office clutching a package of antidepressants and my newborn son. Little did I know that was the day, that was the push that was going to ask me to look deeper for answers. And I needed answers for my crushing fatigue. I needed answers for why I felt like I couldn't do the things that I wanted to be able to do. And I needed answers for why my moods were going up and down like a toilet seat. I left that doctor's office feeling very confused, very lost, guilty, and really struggling to find those answers that I mentioned. And the thing that made this appointment so poignant and so transformative was because the doctor said to me when she handed me the antidepressants, she gave them to me without any blood work, and she said, "This is going to be a lifetime of monitoring." And it was those words, I was like, oh my gosh. And I went home and talked to my husband, and it took me time to find the answers. That day I went home and my brilliant husband asked me to ask better questions. And together we figured out how I could leave my corporate sales job at the time for a sales career that I loved, for a quieter life, and begin raising our 3 boys, sharing meals around a table, going on school trips, which is really honestly what makes me tick. And I've loved every minute of it. And I've also healed my body from hypothyroidism, from adrenal fatigue, from low iron, all things that were going on at that moment. And I've been able at the same time, along with that, to grow my community and my business alongside of it. And today you'll find me more laughing at my reels that I make, planning adventure trips, camping, following the cycles of the moon, and collecting eggs from our new backyard chickens. And I believe deeply, deeply in listening to our bodies and trusting the wisdom and trusting the things that are showing up. Those symptoms that showed up for me 25 years ago were no accident. They were the messengers. They were the messages asking me to pay attention. And that's what I ended up having to do. And I'm forever thankful for that doctor, for that moment of pushing me to ask better questions. And if I hadn't asked those questions with all that confusion and the shifts that my body was throwing at me, it wouldn't have brought me to you today. So I'm thankful for that. Discovering that we need to make changes in our lives that align with our body, with our life, and not what the world is telling us to do, and not just looking at food for a solution or exercise as a solution, but looking at us and all of the questions that we have and getting answers to those questions is the incredible, amazing shift that I love helping women do. It's why I help women with body change questions find the answers. And your body is speaking to you. And together we can learn to listen, because Here is the cold hard truth. Your body is changing. And what worked at 30 is no longer going to work at 45. Your dropping hormones aren't a malfunction. They're actually a sophisticated communication system. We're going to dig into that more and more. And it's really designed to guide you toward optimal health. Whatever optimal health means, it's really about how do you want to feel? How do you want to sleep? Do you want to be able to jump out of bed in the morning or do you want to roll over and go back to sleep? It's okay, whichever one you choose. That's your optimal health. Most approaches treat our midlife symptoms as problems to be eliminated. I and the women I coach inside the Flourish Academy, we see our symptoms differently. We see them as a chance for us to really tune into our bodies and come together in our group coaching calls and really drill down into what are they telling me? What are they trying to say? Uh, I look at clusters of symptoms. We all look at clusters of symptoms, not just one symptom at a time, but clusters of them. They're not a curse. They're your personalized roadmap. They're actually waiting to be decoded. Each hot flash, each mood swing, each metabolic shift is whispering and sometimes yelling exactly what you need. So let me ask you, have you ever gone out late at night? You had a few drinks. Maybe you slept in the next morning. And then what happens? You wake up in the morning, you're probably dehydrated. How do you feel all day long? You wake up that dehydration, you might feel a little groggy. I'm guessing one of the biggest symptoms that I see is hunger. You're probably thinking that your willpower is off because you didn't sleep well enough. Here is actually what's going on inside your body. When we look at the big picture, when we look back at what happened, rather than beating ourselves up for thinking that our willpower isn't great because we didn't sleep properly, you can drop the, oh, I have a terrible willpower story, and instead look back on the evening. You stayed up late. That's a stress. You slept in. That's a stress. You drank some alcohol. That was a stress on your liver because your liver at nighttime is meant to recharge and renew. And instead, it had to process the alcohol into something useful in your body and get rid of it. You slept in. That's a stress. Even though you slept in to recover from staying up late, it's still a form of stress because your body is out of routine. So what does your body do? We've all heard this word, cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone, right? It gets released. So what happens when too much cortisol gets released into your body? It turns on insulin, your sugar hormone. Guess what happens when that gets turned on? It also triggers your hunger hormone and it controls your appetite hormone. Oh my gosh. So now you can stop beating yourself up about your willpower. It is simply a stress response in your body. Knowing that empowers you. Now you have ways to make choices and you can make decisions based on that cortisol being heightened and high. But this isn't about generic advice. This podcast is about understanding your unique body's language. No more one size fits all solutions, no more battling your biology. Instead, you're going to learn to listen, interpret, and work in harmony with what your body's intelligent design is trying to tell you. Your body's not breaking down, it's breaking through. The Midlife Magic Map is something that I help women create in our coaching together. And it's what I like to call is your personal decoder ring. So over the next few weeks or months, I will be bringing you new ways of looking at your body, from the sleep that you don't get to the mood swings and the brain fog. But more importantly, I'm going to give you solutions that are practical, bite-sized, and so darn transformative, because you don't need more things to do. You need to take the things you already do and make them even better. But you might be wondering, what does that look like? Well, I had a client, Patty, who was a VIP client, and we did 4 months of coaching together. When she came to me, she was extremely frustrated by gaining weight. She had constant fatigue, afternoon energy slump. She couldn't sleep through the night properly, and she was suffering from heartburn. After working together and implementing the Midlife Magic Map, she started to experience more energy. She naturally started to sleep a little bit better, which then made her want to get outside and walk her dog. She ended up exercising a little bit more. We also sat down and looked at her heartburn in the early days of working together. Now, I give people a really small test to do in order to test the stomach acid in your body, in order to see if you have enough stomach acid to digest the food that you're eating. And the stomach acid test, which you just do with water and baking soda, indicated to us that she was having trouble digesting her food. So what did we do? We changed the way that she drank liquids around her meals in order for her body to do what it needed to do, which was digest food and not dilute the stomach acid she did have. When we did that, within 3 or 4 days, her heartburn was gone. That really got her attention and got her off to making lots of different changes in her life, bite-sized changes that worked for her. And in her words, she said, I want you to be open to learning, embracing bite-sized changes, and listen to your body. She said the program felt effortless. Her cravings dissipated, and she didn't even have the same interest in the unhealthy foods that she once did. So these are the types of small tips, along with real life stories, that I'll be sharing with you over the coming weeks. Bite-sized, easy to do, and all symptom focused. And here's the last thing I want to share. Yes, I love working with the moon cycles for better energy flow and not working against the Earth's natural energy, but I will also be teaching you about something else when we tap into your energy. I love using traditional Chinese medicine, and there are 5 elements in traditional Chinese medicine: fire, water, earth, metal, and wood. Those are the 5. If you're wondering which element you might be, after I tell you a little bit about how they work, you can go and take the Hidden Clues quiz. I will leave that in the show notes here down below. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll also put them down in the show notes so you can take the Hidden Clues quiz yourself. So let's say your symptom is bad sleep and you're not sleeping really well. Well, if I had 2 women that came to me with the same problem saying bad sleep, if I looked at, say, one of them was called Lisa, and Lisa was an earth element. She loves to be around people. She loves cooking. She loves a family meal around a table. And she wakes up in the middle of the night. Her mind is racing. She's thinking about family. She's thinking about work. She's worried about a friend she forgot to text back. And she feels heavy and bloated and craves sweets during the day. She's going to need a solution. But if Jen came to me and it was a wood element, and she is A-type personality, she is driven, she is strong. Think of wood as like the trunk of a tree, solid, grounded type person. She struggles to fall asleep because her mind is strategizing and thinking about what she needs to do tomorrow. She's thinking about tomorrow's tasks, where Lisa is worrying more and ruminating over here. Jen wakes up feeling stiff, and her indigestion is slow, sluggish in the morning, while Lisa's digestion was more heavy and bloated. Jen's stress she's feeling in her liver, because that is what is the piece of her body that is being stressed out, where Lisa is craving sweets, which is another one of her symptoms. Their solutions are going to be different. Lisa, the earth element, is going to need nourishment and boundaries, where Jen is going to need more movement and flow. These are also the things that we bring in when we're looking at solutions and symptoms in your beautiful body. So each week, we're going to dive into using your symptoms and using them as your superpower to feel, look, and sleep your best. And I would love to pass the mic over to you. What do you want us to talk about? What brought you here today? Please hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And I would be forever grateful if you could take a moment to leave me a review so we can pass the message on to other women in the world and in your circle. And remember, your body may be changing, and that's a fact. And what worked at 30 may not work at 45. But your dropping hormones are not a malfunction. They're a sophisticated communication system designed to guide you toward optimal, better health. And I'm here to help you feel, look, and sleep your best. And I'm so happy that you've been here with me today. And let's do this together. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to this episode of the You Being You podcast. If you found something helpful, share it with a friend who needs to hear it. And if you're loving the podcast, I'd be so grateful if you left a review. It helps more women like you tune in and trust their wisdom. Speaking of wisdom, your body is always giving you clues. And if you're curious about what they're saying, take the Hidden Clues quiz. It's a fun way to unlock your energy type and get some answers. You'll find the link in the show notes. And if you're ready for deeper support, the Flourish Academy is where we do this work together, helping women 40 plus feel better, have more energy, and actually enjoy their bodies again. I'll add a link to learn more in the show notes. Until next time, keep trusting yourself and keep being you.